Om Sadashivasamarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
We were looking at the introduction to the Adhyatma Patala of the Apastamba Dharmasutra. There is an introductory commentary by Shankaracharya. In the introductory commentary only, different Purva Pakshis are there, opponents. One opponent view is that karma itself will give moksha and you can never give up karma. That is one view. They are called karmata. Then there are others who say that jnana karma samuchaya means you have to mix jnanam and karma together. That will give you moksha. But both of them, for them, what giving up karma is like they don't like it. Okay, they are very committed to doing karma. So such arguments. They also are very intelligent people, so they quote from different places in the Veda, even in the Apastamba Dharmasutra itself, and try to justify their views, okay, you can say. So in this context, one of the things which was quoted, we were finally seeing is what? It is said that by doing all the Swadharma Karma itself properly, committedly, without any distractions, one will get kshema. It is said later on in the Grihastha portion of the Apastamba Dharmasutra that the Grihastha is supposed to do all the karma, correct, as per the Varna and Ashrama. One who does that properly himself will get kshemam. So if that is the case, then why are you saying that jnana will give this kshemam and after jnanam you don't even have to do karma? All these questions are coming up. So for that Bhashyakara answered saying that this jnana is actually removing your kartrutvam itself, correct? That is the jnana we are talking about. We are not talking about any other jnana, an objective knowledge. Here it is about the very nature of the subject. This knowledge is revealing to you that you are not a karta bhokta. Then such a jnanam, how is it compatible with further doing karma? Because for doing karma, the first sankalpa is what? I am a karta, correct? Without taking yourself as a karta, how are you going to do karma? So karma and its phala and its whatever karana, all of them are actually opposed to this jnanam. So you cannot say that. But still the statement is there, correct? In the Apastamba Sutra only, the Sutrakara has said this. So Bhashyakara then reinterprets it saying that the one who does this with as a nishkama karma, he says. Nishkama karma means what? Without expecting the results of the action to be something which is going to give you moksha, which is going to give you happiness and all that, you still do it because it is your it's your kartavya, correct? As we call it, it is what you are supposed to do in a given situation. So you do that, but you do it for chitta shuddhi, so that itself will prepare you for this jnanam and moksha. So that way, paramparaya, it is going to give you kshemam, but it is not sakshat karanam. So there you can say that to praise the nishkama karma also, it is said like that, correct? Again, I told you that wherever praise is there, we have to interpret the praise properly. In fact, even see, there is even a Tirukkural. Why I am telling you is this is very important. Even Mahapariyava talks about this. So it is said that not killing an animal. See, you are talking about ahimsa. So you want to praise ahimsa, correct? So there is one adhikaram in Tirukural where one Kural is saying that not killing is the main thing there. So not killing an animal is even bigger than doing some Ashwamedha Yajna or something, let us say you are saying. Now, from this, one person is asking Mahapariyava, that means that Ashwamedha Yajna and all is useless. Correct? Then Mahapariyava gives a very, very interesting explanation. He says, suppose you want to praise something, correct? Then with what will you compare it to praise it? You are not going to compare it with something very lowly, correct? Suppose I want to praise you, I will not say that you are better than a criminal. It doesn't make any sense, correct? If I have to praise you, I have to say you are Indra, Chandra at least. That doesn't mean that Indra and Chandra are bad. In fact, only because they are good, I am praising you by comparing you with them. Otherwise, I won't even use them in the comparison. So don't think that because, so that is what we have to understand, correct? Whenever there is praise and all is involved, we have to be able to interpret it correctly. In fact, there is a Nahi Ninda Nyayam also in the Purva Mimamsa also. When you are praising one thing, it doesn't mean that you are doing Ninda of another thing. We have to understand that. Okay. So everything we have to understand in the right context. So here, anyway, so Bhashyakara has reinterpreted it like that. So he said that by doing your Swadharma only, you are becoming qualified for this knowledge. And then by gaining this knowledge, anyway, you become a Sarvakarma Sannyasi. Means basically you have given up your very notion of being a Karta, means you have given up all karma. So that has been said here. Okay, and then he further explains that. Why he is saying that? Because this karma, any karma can never remove this dosha of ajnana. Basically, ajnana is the karma karana, and karma itself is the karya of that, and karma is only reinforcing this ajnana more, rather than it's not going to help you remove the very notion that I am a karta. So this jnanam itself is all about removing your kartritvam, because that kartritvam itself is mithya jnanam. Bhashyakara says here also, he says it is mithya jnanam, means it is a delusion really, right? You do not know yourself properly and then you take yourself as the karta bhokta. So this is all mithya jnanam, and with that idea only there is pravritti. Then only after taking yourself as a karta, then you are engaging in some action and all that. Okay, so basically what this karma is only actually making this delusion more powerful. It's not going to remove that idea. That is the point he is making. Okay, then so he is also quoting sankalpa mulaha kamaha iti cha smrite. There he is quoting a smriti saying that this even the desire is coming because there is first a sankalpa that I want that. But how does that sankalpa come that I want something? Because you look upon yourself as a wanting person. That idea that I am a wanting person itself is mithya jnanam only. Correct? It is all starting from there. And then once kama is there, then that only leads to pravritti, because now I want to get something and all that. In Gita also it is there, correct? Dhyayate vishayan pumsaha sangat sanjayate kamaha and all, it is there also. Kamat krodho bijayate krodat bhavati sammoha. Like that there is a whole progression of how the whole thing, all these things happen. Bhagavan also talks about. So Bhashyakara is quoting that, and also further says that whenever pravritti is more, at that time this mithya jnanam or delusion becomes more. But whenever you don't have any activity, pravritti mandye, he says, when there is a manda, when there is a reduction in your activities, then what happens? that ajnana dosha also, it seems to at least its effects are not there. For example, in deep sleep, completely there is no pravritti, but then the deep sleep is really a desirable thing for everybody, correct? Nobody complains that you don't go to the doctor and say, I am getting good sleep every night. Nobody complains. Only if you don't get sleep, only it is insomnia and you are going to doctor and whatnot. You want to take different medicines, sleeping pill and all that. The sleeping pill is another big problem nowadays. Right? People cannot eat. If they eat, they cannot digest. Then they cannot sleep well. Then I don't know what kind of life they are having. Okay. The sleep also is a problem. You are not able to sleep well. So anyway, so here, whenever pravritti is less, and then this dosha means samsara. The samsara itself is observed less, because there is no samsara in deep sleep, at least, correct? When everything is resolved. And further what? This, whatever ajnanam you have, that without removing this ajnanam, correct, this mithya jnanam, you cannot attain moksha, because this mithya jnanam, this ajnanam is the root cause, or it is the defect which is making you into a samsari. And getting rid of this samsara is kshema, means you cannot gain this kshema without removing this mithya jnanam and its karya. So, further, okay, there is one more argument here. Why can't, see, we say that this is prayaschitta prakarana, correct? In prayaschitta prakarana, the idea is that the punya karma will neutralize the papa karma. Means basically you are resolving or you are neutralizing the papa using punya. Why cannot punya karma itself resolve this mithya jnanam also and make you into a jnani? Correct? There is a question you can ask that also. That also Bhashyakara answers here. He says, this, in fact, everybody has lot of punya also, correct? In your accumulated karma, both punya and papa are there. Why can't that punya and all come and then help you in removing this ajnanam also and give you kshema? Means he says that is not possible. Why? Because there is no virodha between ajnana and punya karma. Because if ajnana has to be removed, then its virodhi has to come, correct? Something opposed to if you want to remove darkness, you cannot remove darkness with more darkness or anything. You take a charcoal into a room and say that I want to remove darkness. How can you remove darkness with charcoal? Or at least you have to light the charcoal, correct? Then it will become bright. So, like that, whatever is virodha only, you have to take something which is a virodhi. And karma phala are not ajnana virodhi. How much ever punya karma you may have, it is not virodhi for ajnana. It is all in fact ajnana karya, and it is only further it is going to propagate more ajnana only, because it is going to give you newer and newer bodies. All karma are only deha hetu, they become further. So he says there is no virodha here. Okay? So even though they may be, but papa and punya may have virodha, because one is one we may consider as ashuddha, another as shuddha and all that. But in this case it is not like that. There is no virodha. So therefore there cannot be any nivritti or removal of ajnanam and its karya due to punya karma. Then the other one is, why can't we then just enjoy or whatever, correct, experience and exhaust all this karma? That is also another question. Why can't we just phala upabhoga only? So you have already a sharira, through that you are exhausting karma. So why cannot we exhaust all karma like that? Means once you have a sharira, you cannot avoid gaining karma further. That is also happening all the time, correct? You are not only exhausting karma, but you are also all the time creating new karma. This comes in the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad also. In fact, I think it comes in the 1.5, I think. So there, the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad says, Jiva himself is a Pita, it is called. Jiva is known as Jagat Pita or something like that. Because you are the one who is creating this entire world due to your own karma, like that. The Upanishad talks about that. So you cannot avoid accumulating further karma. So don't say that I will take janma and then exhaust all my karma like that. That is also not possible. And again you are going to get new bodies. And by that you are not going to get rid of your samsara. That is also not possible. So finally, why Bhashyakara is giving all these vikalpas or all these different possibilities is that he says, with karma, you are not going to get rid of this samsara, and it is only a hindrance for the kshema prapti or gaining this kshema or moksha. Karma cannot give you moksha by itself. Okay? So this is kevala karma he has now talked about, correct? Whether you want to just use punya to neutralize the ajnana, or you are just saying I will just exhaust all karma by enjoying it and all that, none of that is possible. But still that other guy is there who says that I will mix jnanam and karma. So jnana sahita karma, that fellow is still there. So or karma sahita jnana, whatever it is, you want to mix jnanam and karma. Even with that, avidya nivritti cannot happen. So the other Purva Pakshi comes and now says that why can't we then say that avidya nivritti can happen with karma and jnanam together? Means Bhashyakara says even that is not possible. Okay? Why? Because this jnana and karma, their effects are different. Because the effect of a jnanam is ajnana nivritti. The effect of karma is not ajnana nivritti, in fact. Karma phala is only further propagating this ajnana, as we saw before. Therefore, their effects are different, and also their effects do not, the karma's effect is not opposing the ajnanam in any way. Therefore, this is not possible. But the Purva Pakshi is very adamant. Okay, now he is giving another analogy. This is the problem with argument with analogy. If you don't have any proper argument, but people will still argue based on some analogy. So here what is the analogy he is giving? He is giving the analogy of a lamp. Okay, if you want a lamp to burn and give you light, you require both oil and the wick, correct? The tiri, varti. So tila and varti he is talking about. Both the tel also is required and the varti is required, the wick. So both together only give you light. Like that here also jnanam also is required, karma also is required if you want moksha. So why it cannot be like that? Because in that case, one, you can say that one, this varti is really a parthiva, correct? It is some kind of a cotton and all that. The tila is some kind of a, it is all like up, you can say, correct? It's a liquid, salt and liquid together are required to produce agni, which is of a different category anyway. But so there is a sahakaryaritvam is there, correct? They help each other in producing something. Like that, why can't karma and jnana help each other to get rid of this ajnanam? So this is his analogy. Even this Bhashyakara does not accept. Why? Because he says, this jnanam, how does this jnanam rise? By removing all the action and the factors which contribute to the action, correct? Kriya Karaka Upamardhana is what is this jnanam all about. In fact, that's what even in Bhagavad Gita also Bhagavan talks about, correct? This Kriya Karaka Upamardhanam, where does he talk? Even in the 4th chapter, this famous verse which we all chant. What is that? Brahmarpanam Brahma Havihi Brahmagno Brahmanahutam Brahmaiva Tena Gantavyam Brahma Karma Samadhina. This is basically Karaka Upamardhanam. Karaka means what? Factors of action. See, whenever we talk about action, for an action to happen, many things have to be there, correct? First, the Karta has to be there. Karta is the agent. So, Karta is the Prathama Vibhakti. And all we say in grammar, Karta is normally comes in the Prathama in the, again there is a passive voice, active voice and all that. But in the active voice, Karta is Prathama. Then there is Karma. Karma here is grammatical karma. Okay, grammatical karma means object of action. So the word karma itself can also mean action or object of action or result of action also. So again, depending on the context, one word can mean many things. Grammatically, understand that karma is actually object of action. That will come in Vidya Vibhakti. Then karana is there. Because to do some action, only the karta alone is not enough many times. If you want to cook, you require a cooker. Okay. Let us say, nowadays we can't cook without a cooker. Okay. So, then instrument is required. So that is Tritiya, we say. Then for whom are you cooking? Correct? For somebody you are cooking. For the sake of somebody means that person goes into the Sampradhanam, we say, correct? Fourth case. And then again, okay, in some cases, where does the action originate from? Okay, from somewhere you are starting, or what is the source and all that, that is the Apadhanam, or fifth case. And then where are you cooking? In the kitchen means that is the location, correct? Saptami and all that. So like this, there are factors of action, and action itself is then dependent on all these factors, then only the action takes place. Now what does Bhagavan say? Brahmarpanam. So there Arpanam again is Karana Vyutpatti. Arpyate anena iti Arpanam, like that Bhashyakara gives the meaning. Like even Jnanam is used in the Karana Vyutpatti in the 13th chapter, correct? Etad Jnanam iti proktam Ajnanam yadatonyata, there that Amanitvam, Adambitvam and all. So, Nyayate Anena iti Jnanam, like cooker. Cooker also, ER can be Kartri also in English, like walker and all that. But the same walker can also be Karana if you are using it. So, anyway. So, these things again you have to understand. The same word in what Vyutpatti it is used also is important. So anyway, Arpyate Aneneti Brahmarpanam means you are taking the yajna. Yajna is a karma. And in that yajna, the ladle, let us say ladle is the one with which you are pouring the ghee, means that ladle itself is Brahman. Okay, then the karma, what are you offering into that? That object of action is what? Brahma, Havihi. Havis also, Havis is the whatever you are offering. But that Havis also is Brahman. Then where are you offering this Havis? Location. Agnau, into the Agni only. In a Yajna it is all fire ritual, correct? So into the Agni you are offering the Havis, which is some kind of a cooked rice, let us say. Agnau, Brahma Agnau. Agni also is Brahman. And then what is the purpose? Because you normally do all this Yajna to go to Swarga and all that, correct? But then Brahmaiva Gantavyam, wherever you want to go also, the purpose also is Brahman. So like this, and the one who is doing also is Brahman only. Brahma Karma Samadhina. So all this means all Karakas, means here when we say Brahman, 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 these all we have to also understand it as Badhayam Samanadikaranyam. Okay, Badhayam Samanadikaranyam means what? It is not like saying rose is red, correct? Rose is red means rose has red color. Both rose and red are there. That is normal Samanadikaranyam. Samanadikaranyam means two qualities are there in the same adhikarana or in the same location or locus or substance. So if two things are there in the same substantive, then we can simply say this is this, correct? Rose is red, cow is white and all that. Means cowness and whiteness are in the same, whatever, same entity you can say. But if I say snake is rope, Now what kind of sentence it is? It is also similar to rose is red, correct? But if I say snake is raw, what is the meaning of that? Means basically I am negating the snake, correct? When I say snake is rope, there is really no snake. In reality, there is only rope. So to point out that only I am saying snake is rope, correct? If somebody sees a snake, and she saw a snake 2 days back, but that is not rope snake, I hope. That was a real snake. But you see a snake on rope, means then when I say no, don't worry, snake is rope, means that is called badhayam samanadikaranyam. Basically you are negating the snake on the locus you saw the snake itself, correct? Wherever you saw the snake, there you are negating the presence of the snake. That is called badhayam samanadikaranyam. The same thing here, when I say brahmarpanam, means there is no arpanam or anything. What is there is really only Brahman. Understand that the karaka upamardhanam is happening here, means all karakas are negated, and what is there is all only Brahman. That is the knowledge we are talking about that here. So by resolving all the karakas only, this jnanam itself is taking place. By understanding that whatever is there is one Atma Vastu, Brahma Vastu, in which there is no Kriya or anything. So that being the case, why do you want to come and mix up this karma with this jnanam? They cannot go together. It is like mixing oil and water, correct? They won't mix, literally. But they are desperately trying for that. So, this jnana and karma cannot be mixed, he is saying. Samhatattva anubhavattehe, like that Bhashyakara is saying. This jnana and karma cannot be mixed up, because they are opposed to each other, in fact. And you are giving this example of taila and varti, correct? The wick and oil and all, that may be appropriate in the case of a lamp. Why? Because each one is helping the other one. Because the varti helps for the flow of the oil in a regulated manner, and then so that the lamp can keep on burning for whatever period of time, correct? So there is a sahakarya, there is a upakarya bhava is there. Means one is helping the other. But here it is not that, it's not the case with reference to jnana and karma. So you cannot do any mixing up that he is pointing out. Okay? Then what? So he says, so at any point in time he says that there cannot be any kind of mixing up of jnanam and karma. Like that he concludes that. Then the Purva Pakshi is even more intelligent. It is because they are all well read, correct? So he says this, okay, now you are saying that jnanam alone will give kshemam or moksha, correct? Jnana deva kaivalyam and all, there is saying is there. So jnana alone is going to give you moksha. But then this is negated by the Shastra. Two ways he is looking at it here. Okay, one is in general. Then what about all the Veda Vakyas which are mandating karma then? There is also an argument based on majority-minority argument is there. Okay, why? Because 99% of the Veda is only mandating karma. What you are saying, this Upanishad and all is not even 1%. It is the last chapter of the Veda. So majority of the Veda is mandating karma. Karma vidhi paratvam only is there, correct? Most of the Veda is dedicated, what is it doing really? It is basically dedicated to mandate karma. Karma vidhi paratvam only is there. So whatever you are saying, is it not then contradictory to that? That is one question. But then he is also quoting later on in 221. Okay, there is a sutra is there where our this Apastamba Rishi only, he is saying, I see, it is there here. Buddhes chet kshema prapanam ihaiva na dukkam upalabheta. That means he says, after knowing if you think that you have got Kshemam, means it is again Shastra Virodha, because even after knowing, we see that people get dukkha. So what he is saying is, see, there is a Swadhyayo Adhyetavyaha, like that, Adhyena Vidhi is there, correct? That means everybody has done Adhyanam of Upanishad also. If you do, actually, if you are supposed to do Veda Adhyanam, means in that you are also, in fact, lot of people know Taittiriya Upanishad chanting, correct? If you go to our village also, even when our Perumal is coming around in the Vidhi Ula and all that, when he is in a procession on the streets, so many people are chanting Taittiriya Upanishad. Brahma vida apnoti param tadeka yukta satyam jnanam anantam brahma yo veda nihitam guhayam parame vyoman, and all that they keep on chanting. Now they know Brahma vida apnoti param. Does that mean they have got Kshema? And their dukkha is not gone. After chanting this Taittiriya Upanishad, immediately he goes home and he is suffering from something, correct? Some dukkha is there. While chanting also he is thinking of something and he feels dukkha. Chanting keeps on going on. Okay. So he says, Ihaivana dukkam upalabheta. So if you say that by just knowing this, he has got Kshema, means then he cannot have any dukkha here. But that's not the case. Like this, he is quoting the sutra also, and in general also, like I said, one argument is about this majority minority argument also is there, that if you say like this, then you are going against all the karma which has been mandated by the Veda. Okay, so then what is your answer for this? So Bhashyakara again he takes up this question. So, what does he say here? So, this, whatever you are saying, even though Veda is doing karma vidhi, it is doing, correct? It is saying it is mandating somebody to do karma. Now, from that, you think that it is actually implying that Veda is making you a karta then, correct? That's why he is saying it's a contradiction, because you are saying this jnanam makes you into akarta. But Veda comes and does, or it mandates you to do karma, means now it is making you into a karta, he says. There is a contradiction. How are you going to resolve? And then there are 99% only Veda is making you karta. 1% alone is making you akarta. So which is more powerful? Means Bhashyakara first says any amount of vidhi from Veda also cannot stop jnanam from giving its phala, correct? The Atma Jnanam makes you into akarta. That can never be reversed by any amount of vidhi from the Veda. Veda, so many Vedic statements may be there which says that Swarga Kamo Jyotishto Mene Yajayata or whatever, Yavat Jivam. Even Ishavasa Upanishad is there, correct? Kurvan neve karma nijiji vishe chatagum samaha, like that. So you live 100 years by doing and keep doing karma and all that. Okay. So like this, all these statements cannot reverse. Once the jnanam has given you the phala, the jnana phala, that cannot be reversed by any Vedic statement or anything. First he makes this note. He says that first this is the point. Okay. And then whatever all this karma vidhi you are talking about, correct? And you say that it is actually a contradiction to this sarva karma sannyasa. Basically the jnanam we are talking about results in sarva karma sannyasa, we say, because the karta itself is gone, virodha and all that. So what we say is all these statements do not basically the same thing he says. It does not reverse the, once the ajnanam is gone, correct? That cannot be reversed or anything. These statements are there. I am not saying that it is not there. And it is contradictory also. But the main point is, there are also statements which says that vidyate hridaya grantihi chidhyante sarva samshayaha kshiyante chasya karmani tasmin drishte paravare. So all the karma is gone once you see this Atma Vastu. Okay, once you know that. And tasya tavadeva chiram, like that in Chandogya Upanishad also it is there. Okay, that you are being a mukta only, you become vimuktaha also. Or even till the body is there only, this whatever the prarabdha karma alone continues. But then there is nothing else, it's only up to that point. Like this, there are statements are all there. So anyway, there are statements which support whatever I am saying. But the other important point Bhashyakara makes is, all the karma vidhi, they are all not actually establishing kartritva. Okay, that is the important point here. You are thinking you are a karta already, correct? The vidhi is there only for the one who takes himself as a karta. The vidhi is not saying that you are a karta. If you are a karta, then you do this. Correct? So that is an important distinction which Bhashyakara is making here. So he says that all the vidhi, etc., it does not make you into a karta. You are already a karta in fact. And being a karta, then it is giving you at least the dharmika avenues for fulfilling your desires and all that. Otherwise what will happen is, it's going to be a free for all, correct? So basically Veda is regulating your life so that you lead a dharmic life. So for that purpose it is mandating so many things, and even from there it wants you to graduate and then go into moksha only. So, but there is a gradual growth process, that's what it is facilitating basically. So it's not basically establishing that you are a karta or anything. In fact, it need not do that, because already you think you are a karta only. You are even doing the Veda Adhyayanam thinking that you are a karta, correct? So, it is not that Veda, after doing the Veda Adhyayanam only, it is not that I think I am a karta. You are already a karta. And then you do Veda Adhyayanam. And then the Veda is saying so many things, means then you can do that. That's all it is there. So, the karma vidhi is all only, it is a pravritti shastra, means basically you are already a karta and you are already engaged in action. For such persons only, it is mandating karma. Okay, he makes that point. Also, all this, so this, whatever the karma portion of the Veda, it does not, basically the jnana is what it is saying, that there is only one Brahman, Brahmatma, Aikyatvam only, the oneness of Brahman and this Atman. The Jagat Karanam Brahma is nothing other than yourself. That is what is the vision of this jnana. Now that vision cannot be taken away by all this karma vidhi para vakya of the Veda, all the sections which are talking about karma. If it is like that, means then all the Upanishads themselves will become useless, correct? Sarva Upanishad, all the Upanishads, they won't be pramana anymore. Their pramanyam will go away, they will become anartha. So that is not what we really want. And in fact, even in the fourth sutra here, there is a sutra, proof praninaha and all that, where our sutrakara also is talking about the Dehi, correct? The one who is there within the Prani Sharira as the one who is free from everything and all that. Okay, already the Atma Swarupa is being revealed in the fourth sutra here as Akarta only, even here. So whatever you are saying, we cannot take it. And there is also a Smriti, Atmaiva Devata and all that. Like this, he is quoting a couple of things to show that this Dharmasutra itself and other smritis and Shruti also is basically revealing the Atma as Akarta. And also he is talking about this majority minority. He says there can be many Pravritti Shastra Vakyas, correct? That means there are lot of Vedic Vakyas which are asking you to do karma. Just because they are many and these Upanishad Vakyas are alpa, few, that somehow they are balavat and this is not balavat, correct? They are stronger than this. So here in fact, in the Purva Mimamsaka tradition itself, there are some arguments saying that it is not the actual count or anything which matters, but what matters is which will give you more shreyas or better results and all that, correct? Whichever produces more or better result, even though it may be small in parimana, in its measure, that is balavat, correct? So Murti Sirisarnanu Kirti Perisindra Mari, you don't go by the size or the count or anything. So Bhashyakara is alluding to that here. He says there may be many Veda Vakyas which are talking about karma, but they are not able to give you the Shreyas. You should only see the strength in terms of the result it produces and not in terms of the actual statements and all that, correct? That doesn't matter. Whichever gives the better result is the bigger one. So like that he makes an argument. So the Kevala Jnana Shastram, you cannot say that there are only few Vakyas and therefore it is not balavat. So it has its own strength in giving its result, and that result is the greatest result which is possible. So that way all these things, whatever you say, it is not going to change this fact that Jnanam alone will give moksha. So he says that. Okay. Now the other, but still Bhashyakara has to address this point, correct? That he quoted from that just by knowing one cannot be considered to have gained kshemam. In fact, it is Shastra Vipratishatam, and again he will not, again you can, if that is the case, then they cannot have any dukkha and all that, correct? So while living, does a jnani really then undergo dukkha? A jnani also should have physical pain and all that, correct? After jnanam also, body is still the body. It is the hunger and thirst and all are there. Sharira yatra is there for everybody. So can we consider all that as dukkha then? And say that means then jnana is ineffective, correct? That is what they are trying to point out also. The Purva Pakshi is saying that you are saying jnana frees you and gives kshema and all that. But see this jnani, this fellow also is eating the same thing and he is suffering from the same diseases. I also have diabetes, jnani also has. Means, so what is this? So there is a problem there. Means then Bhashyakara says, of course, but the jnani does not take himself to be the body, correct? This whole argument is based on the assumption that jnani is a body. So that argument also they cannot really make. Jnani is the one who knows I am not the body mind sense complex. Then how does it matter what is the state of the body or the mind and all that? Anyway, so but here again Bhashyakara is saying, but there is Shruti is there, correct? Shruti is clearly saying one who has gained this knowledge, for him Vidyate Hridaya Grantihi, then Brahmavid apnoti param, the one who knows Brahman attains this, the greatest, okay? Then Nichayatam Mrityu Mukhat Pramuchyate, so the one who has this knowledge, he escapes from the jaws of death, literally, correct? That means he becomes immortal. Brahma Veda Brahmaiva Bhavati. So the one who knows Brahman becomes Brahman. Means you are already Brahman. In fact, once you know that, you become also. Being Brahman, you become Brahman. So all this Shruti and Smriti, etc., there are many of them which we can quote. So just by this one statement in the sutra, all these other statements cannot become invalid or they are contradicted and all that. So even here, what we have to understand is, what our Sutrakara is trying to say is, just by some Paroksha Jnanam, because everybody who does Adhyayanam, Veda Adhyayanam also reads or memorizes the Upanishads. They also have some Samskrita Jnanam. So some amount of this Padartha Jnanam is there. But that is all again third party knowledge only, correct? That's why I always say this Vedantic study is not just gaining factual knowledge and all that. It's even not that Veda is saying this, Upanishad is saying this is all useless. Upanishad is saying Aham Brahmasmi, means it's useless knowledge, correct? It's not going to change you in any way. Is that clear? That is all Paroksha Jnanam. That's what we say. Indirect knowledge we are not talking about here. When we are talking about Jnanam, it is Aparoksha Jnanam. Aparoksha Jnanam means the knowledge which has transformed you. It has to transform the way you look at yourself. That's what we are talking about. We are not... That's why we say Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasanam. All these things are important, correct? They contribute to this Jnanam and Jnana Nishtha, which is basically, which has transformed you. So when we are talking about such a person, we are not talking about Paroksha Jnanam. So here the Sutrakara is talking about Paroksha Jnanam, and that is not, again, whatever that sutra does not actually contradict all the hundreds of statements which are talking about Jnana and Jnana Phalam, correct? So he takes up that point also. So then but he is still not convinced, okay? See here, he is still saying what you are saying, Sarvatyaga Shastra, he is calling this. This Jnanam is basically, Sarvatyaga Shastra means what? You give up everything, all the karma, or even the very notion of being a karta and all that. So, but it is contradictory to everything else. The normal people in the world, how do they go about their whatever? If you want to decide on something, on one side a few people are there, on another side some hundreds of people are there. Means which one will you take? He is asking the same thing again. He is coming back to the majority, minority, democracy argument, I think. So, basically in the Loka, how do we do all this? Okay? Which Shastra is not able to argue. So now he has shifted to Laukika argument. Okay? So he says that whatever you are saying, this Sarva Tyaga Shastra, it is still opposed by Bahubihi, he says, by too many. And therefore, we cannot accept it, kind of thing. But Bhashyakara says no. Because both are equally valid in their own paradigm or in their own boundary conditions. That is the point. See? Or it can be even argued, correct? Even within science, there is a regular classical mechanics is there. There is a quantum mechanics is there. Means whatever is applicable in the macro world does not apply at the quantum level. Means there is a contradiction, really speaking. But that doesn't mean that this classical mechanics is wrong or anything. Classical mechanics is very much valid, otherwise none of our trains, buses, nothing will run, correct? All our machines are all, our entire engineering and all is based on this. Okay? But then, when you go to that minute particle level, then the laws are different. This does not apply there. So you have to be, but both are equally valid. This Tulya Pramanatvam, he says. See, as long as you are a karta, whatever the Veda is saying, karma vidhi and all applies. In fact, here we have to also consider what Bhagavan, even in the Gita, no? Bhagavan is very clear. Bhagavan's in the 3rd chapter. So karmainaivahi samsiddham astita janakadaya and all that portion is there, correct? It's a beautiful portion. And later on he says that nahi buddhi bedam janayet ajnanam karma sanginam joshayet sarva karmani vidwan yukta samacharan and all he says. So even a vidwan should do with enthusiasm all the karma. Why? Because you cannot go and just confuse those who are committed to karma and all that. Karma sanginam na buddhi bedam janayet, he says. Don't go and confuse them. Otherwise it will that Varati Vedantam and all we say, correct? So people will use Vedanta only to conveniently get out of their duties and all that. If you don't want to do something, then always say everything is Maya. Easy argument, correct? It's the easiest argument. Sab Maya hai. Ye sab kyun karna hai? You are lazy, you don't want to get up from your thinnai, and they are only putting. So in those days there were some mamas, correct? They sit in the thinnai and then have this vatala paku patti, have food, then vatala paku, and then do aratai there only. They don't want to do anything else. So if you go and ask them to do something, then they will say, everything is Maya. Don't do all that. Come sit here. Like that. So it should not become like that. So that's why even he says, even I am doing, why am I doing? I don't have to do anything. Name partasti kartavyam trishu lokeshu kinchana, he says. In all these 3 lokas, I don't have to do anything. Really speaking, there is nothing to be done by me. So, name partasti kartavyam trishu lokeshu kinchana nanavaptam avaptavyam vartayevacha karmani, he says. But so I don't have to gain anything, or I don't have to lose anything or anything like that. There is nothing for me. But still I am engaged in action. Why? Because then only, because he is already said correct. Yadyad acharati shreshtaha tattadeva itaro janaha sayat pramanam kurute lokastadanu vartate. So whatever is being done by Shreshta Purushas, leaders and all that, others will follow that only. And therefore, even though you are a jnani, whatever you are doing, you can continue that, but you are not doing it with kartritva bhava, correct? Tasmad asaktas san, he says. Already he has said that. Correct? For jnani, so atmanyevacha santushtaha and all he says. Tasya karyam na vidyate, but tasmad asaktas satatam karyam karma samachara, asakto hyacharan karma, like that. Being asaktaha means you are not taking yourself as a karta, you are not interested in any karma phala and all that, but loka sangraha mevapi sampashyan kartum arasi and all that. So looking at the loka sangraha, you can still continue. The jnani's lifestyle doesn't matter. But again in the 4th chapter he says very clearly, correct? So karmanya abhipravrittopi naiva kinchit karoti saha. So you can be completely engaged in action, but still you are not doing anything. Or you can have another lifestyle where you are just sitting under a tree. If somebody gives you something, you can eat. Correct? That is also another. So there is no defined lifestyle or anything. Since you are a jnani, you have to only sit under a tree. There is no rule, or in fact jnani does not have any rule. There are no rules like that. It's all just, it depends on, or you can say that jnani's prarabdha only, it depends on. Whatever is happening, it is happening. That's it. So you cannot have any of these predefined notions and all that. So those things also are very important here for us to understand that this basically, just because somebody is continuing with karma and all that, it does not really contradict the jnanam in any manner. And this is, whatever is said in this portion of the Upanishad, it is equally valid. It cannot be contradicted by any other portion of the Veda, or this jnana phalam cannot be taken away in any manner. Is that clear? So we will continue this. This is an interesting topic. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.